My boyfriend is terrified of spiders and is demanding that I move my pet tarantula to the basement. I am refusing because the basement is too cold for the animal to survive. We are at a standstill and I need advice on what to do. The title basically sums it up, but I'll add some more detail. Thank you for reading this. I, 22F, met my boyfriend, 26M, exactly 2 years ago. At the time, I had 3 pet tarantulas, Skittles, Mittens, and Christopher. I don't know how much you all know about tarantulas, but they live in warm environments, specifically the rainforest and desert from ITS. They also never leave their enclosures for any reason, just like a fish. A year ago, I moved into the house my boyfriend owns. Originally, the tarantulas were all placed into the basement office. It was summer and the tarantulas were fine. When winter came, I noticed the basement was unaffected by the central heater. Only one room in the basement has heat, and it isn't the office the TS were in. In February, Skittles passed away and I moved the remaining 2 TS to the upstairs office, to still keep them out of sight. In October, it started to get cold again. I noticed that the upstairs office was the coldest room on the floor. I researched reptile heating pads, but everything said not to use them for young tarantulas. I put a space heater in the office, but a draft still made the ambient room temperature too low. I tried everything I could, but then Mittens passed away as well. Left with 1 tarantula, I moved Christopher to the kitchen/dining room peninsula where it was definitely warm enough. Christopher is in a container smaller than a shoebox in size. My boyfriend immediately demanded that I remove Christopher from the kitchen and put him in the basement. I asked my boyfriend if there was anywhere else the T could go on the upper floor besides the office, and I was told to put him in the basement. Basically, we got into an argument about this. I explained about the health concerns for the animal, and my boyfriend said he didn't care. I explained to him that whether or not he liked it, the spider was in my care and I was ethically obligated to care for it no matter what. I said that I've had Christopher for 4 years and that I had the tarantulas before we started dating. My boyfriend said he would think about it, but Christopher is still on the counter and it's become the elephant in the room. What should I do?
Relevant comments. Zizimu. Reading through your explanations about external heat sources and such, could you not put Christopher in a larger tank, in the basement, with an external heat source near one side of the tank? Wouldn't that give him the ability to choose where he is most comfortable at any given time, close to the heat or further from it?
OP. I would put him in a larger tank, but that was another fight my boyfriend and I had. He wants the T kept in the smallest tank possible. If the tank were larger, I would do exactly as you said. For the size of the T, it should be in a container roughly 12 by 12 by 9 inches. Anything bigger is just fluff, which I don't mind at all. Update. I got so many hateful PMs from the last post that I did not want to update, but I had equally as many requests to update, so here I am. To clear some things up, I asked my boyfriend if the spiders were okay to have in the house before we moved in together. He said it was fine as long as they were not visible. The basement part happened only because my display case is in the basement, but there was never an agreement to keep the spiders only in the basement, just out of sight. As for the cage, I had asked to increase the size a few months ago. My boyfriend disagreed on spending the money for a larger cage. We split finances, but he's a student and I'm the only one bringing in income, and also because it made him uncomfortable. We had been discussing it for months. For the other dead tarantulas, I have cared for inverts since I was a child. I have 3 pet scorpions as well, but no one seems to be scared of the scorpions. Now for the update. After I got home from work, I asked to have a talk. I asked my boyfriend if there was any way to compromise about the spiders. I asked if he was willing to let me get a bigger cage and keep Christopher in the basement, and he said no. I asked if I could move the spider to a different room, and he said no. I asked if there was anything I could do, and he said no. All he said was no. I had asked him to elaborate. I asked him why he would allow me to move in at all, and he said it was because he thought the spiders would die in a few months like fish. I explicitly had explained to him that tarantulas live for 10+ years. I asked if he was willing to seek therapy at all, and he told me, "I don't need to seek therapy just because you decided to bring in a nasty creature into my house. I'm not the one with the problem. You have problems. You're a witch, and you're even more of a witch for thinking it would be okay for me to put up with your monsters. Only a fucking evil monster would allow another evil monster to live with her. Take your evil monsters with you and get the fuck out of my house, whoar." At this point, I couldn't believe that someone I loved called me a witch and a whoar, so I just calmly went and started packing up my things. My boyfriend followed me from room to room calling me a spider whoar, and asking me if I would rather date Peter Parker. I told him to please leave me alone so I could pack, and he got violent. He started picking up my clothes and throwing them at me, as well as kicking my legs. I then called the police and went outside to sit in my locked car. While waiting, my boyfriend was pounding on the car door. He then went back inside and returned with Christopher's cage and threw it at me, then he kicked my cat. Well, police showed up, boyfriend was arrested. He's being charged with domestic violence and animal cruelty because my cat has a broken rib. Christopher is dead. Edit. If another person says this isn't real, I'm deleting the post. There's no point in posting if no one believes me. Additional info. I feel like the escalated quickly, but my boyfriend has a history of anger issues with previous girlfriends. He was arrested for DV harassment when he was 19, but his then girlfriend testified for him and the charges were dropped. I thought that 6 years was enough to change someone, but I was wrong. Everything he did to the animals he did because I called the police. He snapped because there were drugs in the house and he didn't want to go to jail again. His DV harassment was for shouting, not for hitting, but I should have known better. And I didn't include it because I assumed this was a stupid argument over a tarantula and maybe with some advice for overcoming a phobia. We haven't had any major fights over anything but the tarantula. Things were perfect besides this uneasy face. As for the drugs, it was weed.